Hey everybody, welcome back to the Midnight Paint and Body channel. In this video, we're going to see if we can breathe some life back into this old Buick. So yes, this video we're going to be working on this Buick Skylark, 66 I believe. So, super duper cool car. I personally absolutely love the body style on these. So, we're just going to be going around this car and taking care of a few bad spots on it. Now, it's an older paint job. It's definitely showing its age. It's got a few issues. It could certainly use a complete paint job, and honestly the customer is all over it. He's completely willing to do it. But I just don't personally have the time right now. Got way too much booked to take on a complete, but I told him, well, let's just get it in and take care of these bad spots on it, and then at least that'll kind of keep her alive until hopefully not too far off in the future where we can get it in, get the whole car done for him. But I'll just kind of give you a quick walk around, show you what we're doing. So down here in the troughs, a bit of a glare from the sun there, but you can see we've got some rust starting to happen down in these corners. Obviously pretty common area. So both sides of that. And these drip rails are bubbling up pretty good. So yeah, not too bad up here. We'll go around the car. Yeah, I think this side was worse, but so yeah, you can see there's definitely rust going on here. So we're gonna clean up all through here, probably strip all that sealer out. Yeah, you can see we're quite a bit worse in here. So just makes sense to get these really bad spots tidied up, taken care of, so they don't get obviously worse and worse. So I'm gonna take a little bit of chrome off and take this rear window moldings off. Oh, and actually I'll point out too, we're going to take care of the hood as well. There's kind of a nasty crack and it's really starting to bubble here. There's like an Audi dent there. So yeah, definitely a few spots on the hood. So it's tough to kind of paint something like this, not knowing what the color is, but if we keep it pretty simple, you know, we'll do the hood, probably blend the tops of the fenders for color match, you know, the roof and down in those troughs. We'll probably end up having to come right out onto the complete quarter panels, which is fine, but we'll, for the most part, just blend the clear coat over those. We'll kind of figure it out as we go along how far we're going to go on it. So I'm going to start peeling a bit of chrome off. Drip rail moldings kind of need to come off, but they're like a one-way thing, and I haven't confirmed I can get new ones yet. So I might just tape those and start cleaning up the rust for now until I know for sure I can get a pair for it. So anyway, let's get started. So I got all the chrome trim off the back window. I didn't bother filming, it's just a lot of messing around, but the way they're really inset, they're super tricky. And obviously the last guy thought so as well, because he didn't even take them off. So as you can see, it never actually got painted right in there. So I'll kind of show you guys. I mean, you need one of these old school clip tools. Once you get in behind the molding, you're kind of releasing that clip with it. I know the light's kind of bad right here, but so kind of gives you an idea how those work. So these are super cheap. I've actually got a bunch of them in my toolbox. But you definitely need one of these if you're working on old cars. Well, there's all the trim off the hood. And it's kind of just scraping into this rust in the drip rails here a little bit. It's a little bit nasty on this side. So I'm just going to grab my little grinder and just start cleaning this up a bit and just see what we have to work with. So I know I said I wasn't going to take those off right away, but I found a couple companies that make them. I haven't confirmed I can get them right away, but these had to come off regardless. So I've been cleaning down into that trough. I've got to get way in there, get all of that sealer out. I might even have to mask this all up and get right in there with the sandblaster because we got some pretty deep pitting. But that's just one of those things. It's got to be done right. So there's no point trying to save a piece of tin to have the rust come back. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to keep cleaning up on this, and I'll bring you guys back for a look when we move on to the next spot. So I got this drip rail cleaned up pretty good. I got a little bit more rust to get out, but I'm just going to move on to the next spot. See what we're working with here. So as you can see, I started digging out some of the body filler, and it goes way down into the trough, unfortunately. So we'll just be able to clean it up the best we can. Realistically, this glass would have to come out to really get in there, but I don't see any real rust issues in there. The other thing I'm noticing is that these window clips are actually riveted on. They're not on the factory studs like these ones. So unfortunately I'm not able to get those out without taking the window out. So those are going to be staying. And yeah, some other little things you got to watch for if you're working on old cars like this. Now you can see right here somebody's hit it with a sander on the glass. Now I've worked on so many of these old cars, I made a point of documenting stuff like that. Many years ago when I first got in the trade, we were working on a 70, 72 Chevy pickup and did a paint job on it, put it back together, and the side glass was full of sanding marks like that. And it was not done by me. I was the one who worked on the truck, but the customer came in and said it wasn't like that before, and we hadn't documented that damage, and we ended up paying for glass. But so yeah, it's just one of those things. If you're working on old cars, make a point of, you know, documenting those things, take pictures, whatever. I mean, in this case, it's barely noticeable, but regardless, you don't want to be on the hook for stuff that costs money that you didn't do. So anyway, I'm gonna grab a grinder. I'm gonna start digging this out a little bit and see what we have in there. So I take back what I said about this car having had quarter panels. I don't think it has actually, but you can see here it's had a patch welded in right down here in the trough, which commonplace for them to rust out. It's where we were dealing with rust issues again now. So there's that, and then if you look through all the layers, looks to me like this car may have been originally green. So it looks like there's green there, and then up here into the quarter panel, it keeps going up there. So unless that was maybe some kind of an epoxy primer back in the day, I don't know if this is originally a blue car. I'll have to check the code and let you guys know. Okay, so I've been continuing on with some cleanup. The other drip rail mostly cleaned up. So I figured we'll jump over to the hood and see what surprises we're going to find here. And we've got a little bit of cracked body filler here. And yeah, there's a couple of outy dents in the hood where it must have got closed on something. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, the clear's kind of delaminating a bit on the hood. So let's start with this spot and see what we find. So there's that spot in the hood ground out, so you can see it's just a little bit of an overuse of body filler at some point. There's definitely dents there that should have been pushed out. I mean, it is all boxed in, but you can always get in there with a pick or something. So I don't know how carried away I'm gonna get. I mean, this isn't a restoration, we're just doing some touch-ups on this car. I'll probably try and push that out a bit, but for the most part I'm just gonna redo the body filler. yeah, there's more evidence here that this was in fact a green car. So anyway, nothing crazy on the hood, so I'm going to continue feathering some of that back and get her sanded down. And we'll see what's next. So there's our hood mostly sanded back. So I think I'm going to move on to this panel. I didn't actually talk to the customer about this one, but see, it's got some kind of nasty bubbles, so I'm going to go ahead and strip it out. And my phone's ringing. I'll be back. Okay, where was I before my phone rang? Yeah, it's like I'm trying to run a business here or something. So yeah, we're going to dig into this panel here. I don't really like the feel of it underneath. I'm afraid it might have just been filled up with body filler before. And unfortunately, here's another old car thing. You can see this windshield trough is filled right full of sealer. So it's even sealed right over top of those molding clips. So that was basically what was holding the moldings on. They had just gooped it full of sealer and glued the moldings in place, basically. So that's another thing, unless we actually take the windshield right out of the car and completely clean all this up, we're just gonna have to do the same thing. But yeah, let's just dig into this and see what we find. So I've made a little bit of a jump ahead on the Buick. So I'm just gonna mask it up and put some primer on it. So we've got a few spots we repaired. I did end up taking it out this morning. Actually, I masked this all up and sandblasted right down in the gutters because yeah, there's just rust down there I just couldn't get. So I got it super duper clean down in there. So that and the hood. We've cleaned up this panel underneath the windshield. Yeah, a little bit of filler in that, quite honestly. It's kind of soft, but to repair this properly, we're going to need to pull the windshield and replace this panel. So I think that probably be a future project on this car. Right now we're just trying to get it tidied up and get the worst of it taken care of. But yeah, I'm just going to mask it up. Put a little primer on it. And we'll come back for another look in a bit. Well, it's another Friday come to an end. So got a little primer on the Buick, so yeah. So now it's just basically prep and paint, but I was kind of hoping to get this done today because I've actually double booked myself with jobs next week. So I might actually have to put this outside for a few days, but so at least it's all sealed up. So yeah, not much to that part, just some primer, but I will bring you guys back when we're ready to get her prepped up for some paint. Hey guys, we're back working on the Buick. I've jumped ahead a little bit. To be honest, I kind of forgot I was filming on this one. It's been, I don't know, probably 3 weeks, or a couple of weeks at least, since we worked on it last, but I have been pretty darn busy with other stuff, so I have some time this week. I'm going to try and get this one painted. So, kind of show you where I'm at, just a quick check-in. So I have block sanded all the primer with 240 grit and then 320 grit. And then what I am doing now, what you see here, I am basically just hand sanding everything with a 400 grit, so that'll be my finish grit. I am going to be blending these top panels. So my intention here is to run a little feather with the tape, blend the top of the fenders for color match. Yeah, most of these colors, of course, I mean, if you were to try and just paint the hood right to the edge of the fender, I mean, that can be really, really, really tough to get a perfect match. That's why we blend base coat colors. So basically I'll be painting the hood, and whatever kind of blows onto the fenders will create our match, and then everything gets clear coated. And it's going to be kind of the same deal here. So I'll be coming down the sail panels. I haven't quite decided, but I'm thinking I'm probably going to go to this body line. Now, you might be wondering why we don't just sand and paint the whole car. Quite honestly, this car, I've stripped the top surfaces that were really bad. If it was just as easy as sand and paint, I would do it, but it needs to be stripped. It's a fantastic looking car, but honestly, you look down at it, it is a little wavy. So it would need to be stripped, high build primer, block sanding, the whole works to make it a nice car. And hopefully we're going to be doing that in the future. But for now, we're just getting the worst stuff done. I should show you guys here. I've dug out my chip books. Hopefully, I have left it open here. So now, as you can see, my blue color chips, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 books of blue. So it is not as easy as it sounds to just pick a color, but I believe we have got this one nailed. This one looks really good, actually. Out in the sun, it looks fantastic. So, and it turns out it is a GM color. So there it is there. WA453G. So that is what we're going to be using. So I'm going to continue on sanding, and I'll bring you guys back for some periodic check-ins. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here while I finish the prepping. I figured we'd get some seam sealer into these drip rail troughs. I still have some sanding to do, but it's nice to get this done, and it's got lots of time to cure. I'm going to be putting it in there pretty thick, so it'll probably need a couple hours for sure before it can be painted. So what I'm using is just this Proform black urethane sealer. If you're doing this, just be absolutely sure you are using a paintable sealer. If you don't see that on it, your paint's just going to peel off it. Obviously anything like silicone paint will not stick to. Don't ever use silicone anywhere, ever, at all, anywhere on your car. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to spread this stuff in. Pretty straightforward. This will kind of self-level. I'm going to just pour it in there. I always tape the edges. It just saves some cleanup. After we pull the tape off, we may need to use a little solvent just to smooth it off a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and get this on there. All right, so we've got all the sealer in. Let's pull the tape off. Just want to show you guys this. Hey, is that not the best looking shop stool you've ever seen? When I was at the Lordco trade show this year, the Performance Tools had these on sale for a really good price. So it's got some storage, it's got some cup holders you can move around, little screwdriver trays. Right? Man, this thing is going to be life-changing. I haven't even used it yet. I haven't worked on anything where I got to sand the side since I've had it. Anyway, pretty cool. You can tell it doesn't take much to amuse me. So, I like to pull the tape while the sealer's still wet. And just like unmasking paint, you want to kind of peel away from it. So there you go. There's a real nice bead of sealer in the drip rail troughs. Because I did, well, I guess like you saw earlier, I dug those out completely. And then I ended up actually even masking everything off with cardboard, and I sandblasted all inside the troughs so they're super clean. And then of course epoxy primer, urethane primer. And then the next step will be paint. So I'm gonna peel the other side off, do a little more sanding, and then I'll bring you guys back. So there she is in the paint booth. So everything's prepped up, so I'll kind of show you guys what I've done on the quarter panels. So as you can see, just kind of sanded down to the body line. I'll do a little flip edge with the tape there, a little clear coat right down to there, and then that'll just get cut back a little bit with the buffer once everything is all done. So I'm going to go ahead and start masking. Actually, I think it's lunchtime. Maybe I'll take a break. When I come back, I think we might be ready to start laying some paint.
Say it, baby. I know you're on a roll.
I just finished putting on 3 coats of base coat and 2 coats of clear coat. Not sure how much the camera picked up. I noticed my first coat of clear, I thought I was recording, and I don't think it was. So I won't know till I edit this video, so figured we'll come in just for a quick look here. Booth is clear now, which is still super fresh, but so as you can see, everything's laid out real nice. I'm pretty happy with that. And I don't know if it picked it up, but you saw me kind of peeling back where I'd done the feather with the tape. I like to peel that off before it dries, but so you can see, well, I guess you can't really see until I finish this up, but you know, yeah, you're not going to see an edge there. By the time I just kind of run a buffer over it, it'll be like it never happened. And it'll be the same on the quarter panel here. Of course, I'll need to polish the rest of it to bring up the shine like the new clear. And of course the trunk lid, and I'll probably kind of go over the whole car. And so yeah, everything looks good. You know, my homemade paint booth works okay, but I will need to do some wet sand and polish on all the new paint, just for any dust nibs. I mean, it does work surprisingly well for, you know, what it is for a dirty old homemade paint booth. But yeah, just that little bit of extra work with a little sand and polish, and I can make things look pretty nice. So it is well past quitting time at this point, so I'm gonna let the fans run for a while, but probably next time I bring you guys back to see this, I'll have her put back together and ready for the customer. Well, there she is, everyone. Not a huge job, but it made a heck of an improvement to this old car. You probably noticed I don't have the drip rail moldings yet. I was supposed to have them this week. It's only Thursday, so I might still have them. But other than that, I was done with the car, so I just thought I would kind of finish up the video, so I have a video to put out for you guys on Friday. So as you can see, their color matched up good. So I did paint the back panel, but didn't paint the trunk, so I'm happy with that. So the old car still needs a little work here and there, but overall it's a great looking car. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I just absolutely love this body style. That's kind of the thing about doing what I do. I work on people's cool cars all the time, and I realize how much I like all of them. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, just go over and push that little button and do that for me. And if you can, just leave a comment on the video. Just go down to the comment section, and even if you're just like, you know, hey, you know, hi from Iowa or wherever you are. Honestly, it's those comments that keeps driving the YouTube videos so that more and more people see them. And, I mean, my videos don't get a whole lot of views, but it'd be nice if I could expand them a little bit anyway. So, as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I do hope to see you on the next one.